Welcome once again here to Bethel University in Mishawaka, Indiana. My name is Paul Condry. I'm the president and founder of the Regional Radio Sports Network. Next to me, Jason Freeman, outstanding young women's soccer coach here at Bethel University program, making great strides under his tutelage over the course of the last 4 seasons. Glad to have Jason here. A little bit later on in our segment, we'll be visiting with 3 of his student athletes. But, Jace, one thing that's been very, very apparent under your direction is the women's soccer team really making great strides. 7 wins, 8 losses, and 4 ties. Just years ago, this was a program that was struggling to win a match or 2. And you guys have making great. So every year you've gotten a little better. So let's just talk about the journey that you've been on and how excited you are about going into the next step.
Yeah, Paul, thanks for having me today. Most of it's the players, you know. They put in the work day to day, and it's been fun to watch the young players. Now, as I go into my 4th season, we've got players who were freshmen, and now they're seniors. And to watch the growth and development of those players has been exciting. We've had some young players that have come in and helped us, so I think it's a combination of the two of those things that have really helped us grow each and every year. But the players, they've been disciplined, and they've been consistent. They work hard, and they have a mindset to get better.
You know, the unique thing you find yourself in here, and it's always so dynamic, is that you're always trying to keep up with the Joneses. And everybody else is having success. You want to have the same success. That's the nature of athletics. And your colleague right down the hallway just won the NAI National Championship in Thiago Pinto, and he's done a tremendous job. It's been a great mentor to many of the coaches inside the building here at the Y Camp Athletic Center. So I'd like to talk to you about the relationship you have with TP and how important he's been, in not only in your development, but really in the development in the aspect of helping all the athletes on this campus.
Yeah, Thiago's a mentor to me, both on and off the field. I think I learn a lot from him on the coaching side. I learn a lot from him off the field. I was a grad assistant for Thiago on the men's side from 2017 to 2019. So that was my first connection with Bethel. Came up here from North Carolina, and he brought me in. And I think one of the first places we met after my weekend visit here to see if this was going to be the place I was coming. I think we met in Hong Kong, but
what an odd place.
So we flew in from different places, and we met there, and then we had some really exciting time in Southeast Asia and some different places, running coaching clinics and doing ministry. So we have a shared heart for ministry and using the game to do that. I think that's the biggest part for us, is how do we impact the kingdom using soccer as the game that drives some of that behind the scenes. So he's a huge mentor. We've gotten to work together, you know, with other organizations as well in the coaching world, and so I lean on him for a lot of stuff, and we'll continue to do so as long as we're both still around here.
All right, give us an idea on the different coaching and the genders aspect. I mean, when you're coaching guys, I mean, the guys you coach them different. I bet something I always remember, that legendary Hall of Fame Bethel athlete and coach, Jody Martinez, who had a great career here for women's basketball. He was an All-American at Bethel on the men's basketball team, all-time leading rebounder in school's history. Helped with Coach Lightfoot on the men's side. Then he became the women's basketball coach here. Short story says, Jody says, I had to learn how to coach gals from coaching men at the college level to women at the college level. And something that he said to me that has resonated and stuck in my mind forever. He says, when I learned how to coach women is when I learned that if I love the women like I love my wife and coach them like guys, I think that has been the recipe for success. So when the women know that you love them, that's a great position to be in. So why don't you piggyback on that thought?
Yeah, I think there are a few little differences, but I think, honestly, there are more similarities. And I think people are people, and whether it's coaching on the guys' side or coaching on the women's side, I think you have to build relationships, and you have to be intentional, and you have to put time in. And I think when you do that, it helps. And I think it's been a great group. I've been proud to work with the young women that we have in our program, and I think their heart matches what we want for the culture of the program. And I think that's been big, not only with the players who are returning, but the new players coming in. I think we have a great culture, and it's fun to watch them start to grow as leaders, and they're really taking ownership as we move year to year.
Do you see the other members of your very competitive Crossroads League, when they looked at their schedule, hey, Bethel, that's an automatic win. I mean, that's the way they used to look at Bethel. That was from their viewpoint. That's not the case anymore. Now they have great concern.
I think that's the case, and it's great to play in the Crossroads League because the top half of the league is also top 25 in the country. So we know where the bar is. We had 2 teams play in the national final against each other and 5 teams in the national tournament at the end of last year. And we're getting closer every year, and we're starting to knock on the door of the top 5 now. And I talk with a lot of those coaches, and they've told me, hey, you guys are coming a long way every year. And, some of those top schools have said, hey, it's not a given. When we come to Bethel, we have to show up now, and we have to play. I think we have a great home field advantage here, and I think teams are, even in the top 10 in the country, are realizing it's becoming very difficult to play. And it's not a pushover group, and we intend to continue to grow and continue to push the bar.
Yeah, some gals, it's my understanding, have left the program. Audrey Lurch, Bowling Green, Ohio product, 14 goals and 3 assists last year. Honorable mention, all-league performer. Mara Franke, a young lady from Derby, Kansas, another gal who's gone. But I look at just despite the losses, you still have a great group of kids coming back. But talk about the losses of those kids that left last year and what kind of hole that you're going to have to fill.
Yeah, obviously, when you lose some players with some experience, you have to take time to get the young players involved. But actually, Audrey's staying.
Oh, okay.
She was going to graduate, but she wanted another year. She's got a COVID year.
Oh, awesome.
She wanted more Bethel soccer, and so
that's good for you.
We said, all right, we want you back, and she's all in. So
wow.
She's back for us another year. So obviously last year she had a breakout year, scoring 14 goals and 3 assists after maybe
that's awesome.
3 goals the year before. So, but we've talked with Audrey, and it's like you can score 14 goals in a year, but can you do it twice? And can you be consistent? And can you raise your game to that level? So we're challenging her. Mara was big time for us at right back last year, so we're going to have some young players. We may move some pieces around to fill that, but the young players have shown really well in the first few days of preseason, so I have no doubts that they're going to step in and take the reins. It'll take them an adjustment period, as it always does with a freshman or a sophomore, really coming in and stepping up and playing a new role, but it's a good group, and I think we're going to have more depth this year.
Okay, so let's take a look at the landscape of that very competitive Crossroads League, and where do you see you're at? Last year you were 3-5-1 in the league. Give us an idea on are you at the point of knocking through that barrier that you would like to?
We're close. We're very close. So I think we're at the point where only time on the field is going to tell for sure. I think we finished 6th the year before, and then last year we finished 7th. But last year we were much better overall. We had a better overall record. We picked up 4 ties in the season, some close games that we should have won. And I think we have a more mature group coming back now. And we've discussed that as a group. We said, where do we want to be at the end of this year? And we want to make a national tournament. And to do that, we've got to take those close ties, and we have to turn them into wins. So we're going to be very, very hungry and ambitious to start strong and to finish strong.
Can you speak to the spiritual development of your gals, and how have they grown since you've had them on this campus?
Yeah, and some of those questions you may have to ask the players.
I will.
To know exactly who's growing in what areas. But it's been tremendous on the character side, to see them grow, to take ownership, to take leadership. But it's really cool to see some of those young players as freshmen my first year become seniors now, and the way that they're intentional about reaching out to the younger players and impacting them for the kingdom and sharing Jesus with them and walking with them, even the ones who don't know the Lord. It's no secret that in a group this size, not everybody knows the Lord, not everybody's walking with the Lord. But the culture of our team hasn't changed, and we want to be Christ-centered. We want to be student-athlete focused. But we spend a lot of time off the field going through Scripture and just saying, what does Scripture say about this? And to really develop. We do a lot of stuff in the spring for leadership development. We do some things in the spring where we're getting together with team Bible studies and really digging into the Word and asking questions, because whether you know the Lord or whether you don't know the Lord, you can at least ask the questions, what do I believe and why do I believe it? And so we're willing to walk through that with people, and it's been cool to see the upperclassmen now take a hold of some of that and help the younger players.
Let me give you a final open-ended question. The Bethel women's soccer team is going to have a great year because these athletes step up and have great years? The athletes specifically. Who's going to have great years?
I think Audrey needs to have another good year. I think it's, like we talked about, it's not just a one and done for her.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's growing as a player continually, but she's going to have to really work hard because now she's got a target on her back.
Okay.
You score 14 goals, teams know about it going into the next season. So now can she do it with pressure, with the film already evaluated, and teams are prepared for that?
Sure.
I think we're going to, Lena led us in the midfield quite a bit last year. I think Julia's going to have a better year. I think she had a great experience over the summer. And I've already spoken with her, and we talked, and she said, first year I kind of settled in, and I think I can bring a lot more to the table. Ton of players. Kate's coming back from injury, and I think she's seen game minutes, and she's seen experience in her freshman year and some at the end of the sophomore year when she was able to get in there. So we're excited to see her get started this fall and see where things land. I think Jordan Mihut could have a really good breakout year. Aubrey Vervinkt, I think, could have a breakout year. I mean, the list could go on and on. And we could talk about players who have grown from last year to this year. And just watching the first few days of preseason, we have a couple young freshmen who are poised to make it very difficult on the returners to stay in the starting lineup. But it's competitive, and that's what we want.
And in a moment, I'll be visiting with your student athletes. And I'm going to ask them, one of the questions is, what's the funniest thing that they like about Jason Freeman? What would you think that they would say?
That's a good question. You may have to ask them.
I may have to.
They'll probably have plenty of Coach Tim stories. Tim is sometimes the light. I don't know if I bring all the humor, to be honest. Maybe I'm too serious. You'll have to ask
We'll have
them
to do that.
And see what they say.
All right. Once again, Jason Freeman has been our special guest here, women's soccer coach here at Bethel University. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back soon right here on Regional Radio Sports.